The Russian former investigative journalist Ivan Safronov has been formally charged with treason following his arrest last week. Safronov spent a decade writing for the business daily Kommersant, reporting on the Russian military and arms deals. He began working as a communications advisor to the head of Russia's space agency Roscosmos in May. Several of his former colleagues were detained after demonstrating outside the prison where he'd been held. Let's cross over to Moscow, where we can speak to our very own Galina Polanskaya. Galina, we've had Safronov being accused of sharing sensitive information with the intelligence services of the Czech Republic. What did he have to say to that?
While Ivan Safronov pleads not guilty, Oliver, he links his arrest in this case with his journalist's activity and investigations. And one of his lawyers said that he is getting ready for a long fight that Safronov will fight. You see, this case is classified as all spy cases and is closed, and all of the lawyers of Safronov, and he has got 4 of them, have signed a non-disclosure agreement today, but they said that they have seen nothing that could be considered to be a state secret so far, or no proofs of the accusations. However, Kommersant, the paper where Safronov used to work, is quoting one of the lawyers who gives some details. Apparently, the prosecution says that Safronov has been transmitting secret data with an encryption program and that this data has never been published. But I repeat, Safronov says he is not guilty and is intended to prove that.
Now, his former colleagues have also been protesting outside the place where he was being held by police. They've then subsequently been arrested today.
Exactly. Ivan Safronov's supporters, ex-colleagues, journalists came here to the Lefortovo center where Ivan Safronov is being held, stays under arrest, and those who tried to protest were immediately detained. They were urging this case to be open and fair, but they were taken by the police. You see, as I said, this case is classified, but the Kremlin says that there will be no exceptions here, even though the whole media society in Russia, including the Kremlin, those journalists who work in the Kremlin pool, supports Ivan Safronov and urges this case to be open to public. Many of those whom I've spoken with today say that their worst fear is that they will never know the details of this case. Let's listen more.
I
don't believe he's guilty. I came to support him. I think that his case should be open to the public, meaning that any proof of guilt that the investigation will provide has to be known to society. Otherwise, there are too many doubts that Ivan is being prosecuted for his professional journalistic activity that he's been doing for 10 years in Kommersant. He was writing some very uncomfortable and unpleasant things, I think, for some people who are in power.
Independent Journalist Trade Union has published an open letter of support to Ivan Safronov that was signed by 100 of journalists. And this letter urges this investigation to be fair and open, as transparent as possible. But so far, all the signs show that this case is going to be closed, and we will not know the details and the facts that accuse Ivan Safronov in treason. If he is found guilty, he might face up to 20 years in prison, Oliver.
Galina Polanskaya joining us.